In pursuing technological dominance, the United States has developed an aviation wonder. This powerful and formidable creation possesses the immense capacity to carry the world's most lethal bombs. With exceptional speed, stealthy features, and next-generation capabilities, this bomber has proven to be the future of bomber aircraft. What aircraft has taken the world of warfare with such force? What makes this particular bomber unique amongst the others that have been developed? Join us as we take a journey into the unbelievable features of the United States' next-generation stealth bomber. Welcome to our video on the B-2 Spirit, also known as the stealth bomber. This aircraft is truly a remarkable piece of engineering, designed to evade enemy radar detection with its sleek, low observable design. The B-2 Spirit is capable of delivering both conventional and nuclear weapons with precision accuracy. Its unique shape and advanced technologies allow it to penetrate deep into enemy territory undetected, making it a formidable force to be reckoned with. With a wingspan of 172 feet, the B-2 Spirit is an impressive sight to behold. Despite its large size, it is able to fly at high altitudes and speeds, making it one of the most advanced bombers in the world. The B-2 Spirit was designed for important and critical missions. It is one of a unique kind of aircraft known as flying wings because, unlike its predecessor, it does not have a regular body or even a tail. It is far superior to the older bombers due to the way it blends into the sky and having a large capacity to carry bombs. Another distinct feature that makes it better than the B-52 is that it can fly for about 6,000 miles without stopping, and it also refuels every 6 hours. Let's take a look at this formidable bomber's predecessor, shall we? Prior to the development of this stealth bomber that has taken the world by surprise, the United States used the B-52 to carry nuclear weapons for Cold War-era deterrence missions. Before we get into the details of this bomber, let's lay emphasis on this aircraft's impact on the Cold War. These aircraft are mainly built to perform long-range, strategic, and stealth bombing missions, and, most importantly, to carry powerful and destructive nuclear weapons. The Boeing B-52 Stratofortress is a powerful aircraft that was developed by the well-known American company known as Boeing. The B-52 has been used by the United States Air Force since the 1950s and was used by NASA for over 40 years. One of its unique features is that it has the capacity to fly for very long distance, but unfortunately, it was not designed to fly at supersonic speeds. In addition to its specifications, this bomber can carry up to 70,000 pounds of weapons and can fly about 8,800 miles without needing more fuel mid-flight. On the 23rd of November, 1945, the Air Materiel Command required a new bomber that was capable of long missions but would not need to stop mid-flight for refueling. Also, he needed the aircraft to have at least 5 crew members and also be able to fly at 300 miles per hour at 34,000 feet with a range of 5,000 miles. But that was not all the requirements. It should also carry some cannons and 10,000 pounds of bombs. In September 1947, they realized that they needed an aircraft that could go even faster and farther, something that would suit the needs of the ever-evolving world of warfare. This realization led to the birth of the B-52 bomber, and the rest is history. Let's dig into another bomber that comes close to being unrivaled. The Rockwell B-1 Lancer is a supersonic variable sweep-wing heavy bomber used by the United States Air Force. It was given the nickname of the Bone from B-1. It is one of the 3 big strategic bombers that the United States has, and it is the heaviest of the 3, with a whopping 75,000-pound payload. The bomber was birthed as a result of the United States Air Force's need for an aircraft that could go really fast and also carry a lot of weapons. The idea for the B-1 started in the 1960s, and there was a competition for the weapons company that would be placed in charge of developing it. They canceled the program in 1977 because the project was considered too expensive. At that point, there were missiles that could perform the same function as the B-1. However, they went ahead with the program again in 1981 due to the B-2 bomber being delayed. So changes were made to the proposed designs, which made the bomber slower, but capable of carrying more fuel and weapons. This new weapon was named B-1B, and it became fully operational in 1986. In 1992, the U.S. stopped using the B-1B for nuclear bombs and started making use of it for regular bombing missions. However, they plan to replace them with the Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider, starting in 2025, and will retire them by 2036. Now back to the bomber, whose capabilities and features are known to be unrivaled. The B-2 Spirit is a bomber that has taken the world of aviation to a whole new level. In the mid-1970s, military aircraft developers discovered a new way to avoid being spotted by enemy missiles and aircraft. This technique is called stealth today. The idea is to make an aircraft's shape and materials in a way that makes it hard for radar to detect it. A stealthy aircraft can fly without being detected or targeted by radar, which makes it invisible to attacks by weapons that rely on radar. Even though there were other ways to detect aircraft, like human eyes, infrared scanners, and listening devices, they weren't as good as radar, especially at night. In 1974, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, asked American aircraft companies how big an aircraft could be without being easily seen by radar. Northrop and McDonnell Douglas were chosen to work on the project at first. Lockheed already knew a bit about this because they had made aircraft like the A-12 and SR-71, which had some stealthy features. They started using computer models to design aircraft with flat surfaces that would reflect less radar. They began working on the first of these designs in 1975 with an aircraft called HAV Blue, which was built by Lockheed to test it. In 1975, DARPA had started a project called the Experimental Survivability Test Bed. Northrop and Lockheed got contracts to work on it. Lockheed continued with the project, which led to the F-117 stealth attack aircraft. Meanwhile, Northrop had its own secret project called Tacit Blue in 1979, working on stealth technology and other advanced features. The stealth technology they developed was later used in other aircraft, like the B-2 stealth bomber. The process of developing the bomber was a pretty complex one. There was a significant need for new computer technology. They needed the design to be very stealthy, or difficult for radar to detect. Each B-2 aircraft has 2 pilots, and there is also more space to accommodate an extra pilot if the need should arise. With all these features, the bomber can be described as very high-tech. Here's another interesting feature. In the depths of the cockpit, one pilot can rest or even eat while the other pilot watches over the aircraft. By the mid-1970s, military aircraft designers had learned a new method to avoid missiles and interceptors, known today as stealth. The concept was to build an aircraft with an airframe that deflected or absorbed radar signals, so that little was reflected back to the radar unit. An aircraft having radar stealth characteristics would be able to fly nearly undetected and could be attacked only by weapons and systems not relying on radar. Although other detection measures existed, such as human observation, infrared scanners, and acoustic locators, their relatively short detection range or poorly developed technology allowed most aircraft to fly undetected, or at least untracked, especially at night. The B-2 also has a hidden compartment where bombs and other ammunition can be stored when airborne, which allows it to remain invisible to radar. The B-2 can carry over 40,000 pounds of bombs, like nuclear bombs and cruise missiles. This bomber is the only aircraft that can carry the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, which is a huge bomb that is designed to destroy tough bunkers. It can carry 2 of these massive bombs simultaneously. Also, there is a plan to make use of other missiles, like the AGMM-158 JASSM and the long-range standoff weapon in the near future. These upgrades stand to improve the bomber's versatility and would make it more relevant. Diving into the unique features and upgrades of the B-2. To make the B-2 better than the older bombers, its developers added more advanced systems to the aircraft. These systems have been changed and improved for regular missions, not just the nuclear ones. One of the important systems that was added was the radar, which gives the aircraft the ability to see things on the ground and also avoid getting hit. Also, they added a navigation system that helps the aircraft find its way using GPS and other tools. There is also a system called the Defensive Management System, which works by warning the pilots of possible dangers. The aircraft has a special system that checks all the parts and makes sure that they are all working perfectly fine. Basically, this system notifies the ground crew of an issue with the aircraft and also informs them on how to fix any problems after a mission. Back in 2008, the majority of the computers on the bomber were replaced with just one big system, which made things effectively easier. The computers were made to resist electromagnetic pulses which could damage regular electronics. They are all connected through special cables and fiber optics. Over the years, the B-2 underwent several upgrades, including new communication systems and radar-absorbent materials that would make it harder to detect. The radar has been improved to work better, and several parts have also been replaced to make it more effective and efficient. Because the bomber is made with special materials, there is the need to stay away from thunderstorms to avoid getting damaged by lightning strikes. To keep the bomber flying without a hitch, despite its unique and uncommon shape that shields it from radar, it uses a special computer-controlled system. With this system, the aircraft adjusts its wings and settings automatically, without the pilot having to do it manually. The system gets information about things like the aircraft's speed and its angle from special sensors. When Northrop was designing the B-2, he looked for ways to control its direction in a way that would not compromise its stealthy features. He decided to use a mix of brakes on the wings and thrust adjustments from the engines. How much thrust the engines put out affects not just how fast the aircraft goes, but also how it moves up and down and side to side. There are control surfaces along the edges of the wings that help with different movements, but some are only used when the aircraft is flying slowly or landing. During takeoff, these surfaces stay down to help lift the nose of the aircraft up until it's going fast enough. So, what are the stealth designs that give this bomber the edge above others? The B-2 is really hard to spot because it's designed to avoid being seen by enemy defenses. It uses special technology to make it less visible to radar, heat sensors, and other detection systems. This means it can sneak into enemy territory without being noticed, making it easier to attack heavily guarded targets. During the day, it's painted with special paint to make it harder to see. When flying high up, its dark underside blends in with the sky, making it even more stealthy. It has sensors to help the pilot adjust its altitude to match the changing brightness of the sky and avoid leaving trails behind that could give away its position. To maintain its stealthiness, it's kept in a special hangar and gets a thorough cleaning every few years to check for any damage that could make it easier to see. So far, no missiles have been fired at this specific bomber because it's so hard to detect. The bomber is known to have a very small radar reflection area, which makes it hard to spot on radar screens. Also, there is a certain adjustment that pilots make to the aircraft to make it even more stealthy when they are approaching enemy defenses. And, just as it should be, this adjustment is kept secret. While all these sound too good to be true, it is important to note that the bomber's stealthiness is briefly compromised when it opens up its bomb bay. Unlike aircraft with vertical surfaces which can reflect radar waves, the B-2's smooth shape reduces this. Some radar operating at certain frequencies can still detect stealth aircraft with vertical surfaces, but the bomber's design helps to reduce the risks. Some experts say that infrared search and track systems could be used against stealth aircraft because all aircraft surfaces heat up when they move through the air. This system uses a 2-channel IRST, which makes it possible to detect carbon dioxide emissions at a specific wavelength. This is done by comparing the differences in heat between the low and high channels. To reduce the heat signature, the B-2 hides its engine deep inside the fuselage. The cold air from the surrounding air is drawn into the fuselage at the engine intake, which mixes with the hot exhaust just before it exits the aircraft. The process reduces the amount of heat that is released, and this makes the bomber harder to detect by infrared sensors. In conclusion, the B-2 Spirit is truly a stealthy beast, capable of striking fear into the hearts of its enemies. Its advanced technology and impressive capabilities make it a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. This bomber has given a whole new definition to stealth capabilities and efficient performance that is unseen in other aircraft. Thanks for watching. What do you think of the formidable B-2 bomber? Which of these bombers do you think is the best? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content on military technology and aviation.